Guess who's back? It's the Belligerent Brown Boys.
Let's go. It's been a while. We've been off for a while.
Been a long time.
Yeah, I think it's been almost a month because I think the last thing we did was the NFL preview, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, that was a good one. Hope you guys enjoyed the NFL preview and the season so far. NFL's been interesting.
It's been an interesting season.
Yeah.
Pretty low key for me, considering, big part of it comes down to gambling, and there's been no winners for me.
Yeah, the gambling
It's been a rough one, yeah.
Yeah. But just up until this point, the season itself, the games have just been weird. There's been a weird vibe.
I have not found a lot of games to be that entertaining.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a hot take. There's been a lot of just messy games that are either I feel like scoring's really down this year. If you take away Buffalo, the 49ers, and Miami, scoring's been really, really down.
Yeah. Except if you're San Francisco and what they did yesterday. Sorry, not yesterday, Sunday.
Oh, to the
Yeah, that was a beatdown.
to the preseason Super Bowl champs every year, the
There's
Cowboys.
been a couple of beatdowns. Cowboys opening night.
Yeah.
They threw up 40 points.
Yeah, but we're talking about we got to get these teams out of the league. Like the Denver Broncos, what are they doing? The Jets, the New York Giants. It's the same three teams that are giving up 40 points a game.
Yeah, and the Giants they're in trouble too because Daniel Jones got hurt too, so they're gonna get even worse.
Oh, did he?
Didn't he get hurt in the last game and he was out?
Yeah, he did.
But how much worse can they really get?
I mean, yeah, if you're already rock
Fair
bottom.
Yeah. They're at the bottom.
I mean, they can get to Denver Bronco level bad.
Hey, it's
but the thing with Denver is Denver's offense has been okay. It's their defense that has just fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, you're right. It's like what you said with last season, Russ just running for his life.
Yeah.
And he's just getting no help.
Russ, last year, they couldn't even put up 15 points a game. This year, they're putting up at least 20 points a game.
And now they're giving up 40.
Yeah.
They're giving up 40. Yeah, exactly.
So
it's an odd thing. It's an odd thing, but I feel like this year is going to become, if it hasn't already, just a downward spiral for majority of teams for Caleb Williams.
Maybe. Yeah.
That number one draft pick, dangling that over every franchise, that's a franchise quarterback that's, expected to be a franchise changer. So, and it just feels like some of these calls, some of these decisions when I'm watching these games just are so baffling to me that I can't make sense of it without thinking hey, they're just tanking.
Yeah, I think we're at that point right now in the season where teams know who they are.
Yeah.
And the ones that are facing reality are just going to be all right, I mean, this is probably our golden ticket. So let's just,
It's starting to feel that way.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
But there's also 5 or 6 teams that are in that boat. So it's which one of those 5 or 6 teams is going to be the one that's going to cash in?
Yeah. I think it's one of those years where there's just half the league is just really bad. And then you have, 5, 6 upper echelon teams and a few middle of the pack.
Amen. I hope my Pats don't win another game for the rest of the year. Let's just finish the season with the 1 win and just hope for the rest.
I don't blame you. That's probably a lot of fan bases.
So for that team, the Patriots, who do you think is on the hot seat? Is it Bill or is it Mac?
It's Mac. It's not Bill. I think with Bill, he's gonna stick around until he gets that wins record, and once he gets that wins record, he's gone. It doesn't matter to him.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think the way that the team is right now, they're in a transitional phase.
Yep.
Right? Bill wins wherever he goes. Right? Yeah. I think he's won enough where it's just let me just kind of just do this one thing and I'm out here. But Mac,
well, I don't understand his decisions the last 2 years with all the coaching changes.
Yeah.
And it's you're putting your own team in a position to fail.
You figured when they brought O'Brien back, right? Getting Patricia off of offense, they'd figure something out. But it just hasn't worked, right? Because they're on offense. These guys are shambolic.
Yeah. And they don't even have a running game, which was supposed to be their bread and butter.
Yeah, like
I think they're 29th in the league, I saw.
But you figured we'd be fine with Stevenson and Zeke.
Yeah,
you figured you'd have a decent.
I don't know if it's the runners.
game.
I don't know if they're even attempting to run this year enough. But like a lot of O lines this year, just in the league, are just in shambles.
Yeah, that offensive line is not good. But like, I don't have anything against Mac.
Mm-hmm.
I like Mac, but he's being left in a lot of uncompromising situations, especially with that last game. You know, they had nothing to lose by putting Zapgod in there.
Yep.
And just give him a couple of touches and just see what happens. There's no reason to keep Mac in there. It's like watching a kitten getting kicked.
I think Jack does have a point though with Belichick's decisions over the last couple of years, because the whole reason Brady was like, "Hey, I'm out of here," was like, "You're not giving me any weapons. You're not giving me any stars."
No, but I'm telling you right now, Brady.
But Brady made stars though.
Yeah,
he did. But at the same time, he's later on, like in the last few years in his career, he needed stars around him. He wasn't the same guy that's gonna be creating stars.
Yeah, I mean, but this is the team that gave him Randy Moss.
Yeah,
and they went undefeated, right?
But we're just talking about the last 2 years.
The last 2
right?
years?
Like the last couple of years, like Jag said, like the decisions that Belichick's made, either from draft picks, like, you know, just coaching decisions, just nothing has worked.
But not getting
that has
weapons,
to fall on him.
But not getting weapons, that's not the reason that Brady left. Bill did not want.
They didn't want to keep him.
He did not want to keep him.
Yeah. Which is fine. Like, I don't want to go back down, like, okay, the whole Brady stuff, but the point still stands. Like, it's been a few years now. Like, the decisions that this franchise has made.
But he's also got a lot of off-field stuff that's probably sitting on the back of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with, what is it, his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend or whatever. He's having, like, some situations with that, and then they're afraid of something coming out and whatever. Yeah, I don't know if that's it. Like, it's allegedly all these things are happening. Yeah. Dak, I mean, the guy's human. We all think Belichick's a robot, which he is. I legitimately think he's a robot. Yeah. But the guy's still
definitely a robot.
But it might be on the back of his head. Mm-hmm. But I'm not a big fan of like the coach / GM thing either.
Yeah, that
right. Like, you're one or the other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, because if you're a GM, you can focus strictly on the managing side of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Coach, just do the coaching thing. Like the double duty, that's like stressful. What is Belichick? He's like 80, right? No, he's not that old.
Yeah,
no, I think Pete Carroll's...
He's close to 70.
He's
if
close,
not
yeah, so,
70.
Oh, yeah, Pete Carroll's the oldest coach in the league, right? He's like 73 or something.
That's insane how old these coaches are.
Yeah. And then you got the opposite with like, what's that guy's name? McDaniels?
Yeah, but he's doing such a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a fabulous job. But okay, guys, we got to talk about those Cowboys. Like, we can't give the Patriots this much love. Their era's done.
Yeah, the Pats are done for now.
Okay, but they were truly the real America's team, right? So
they were, but now we gotta talk about that fake America's team, the Cowboys.
Oh my gosh,
where to start?
Where do we start? We got to talk about what happened against San Fran.
We gotta start with facing reality, Cowboy fans. Like, Dak is not a Super Bowl quarterback.
He's whenever you give him the benefit of the doubt. And he always finds a way to be like, no, it's all right.
I think the truth is, after his injury, like, this league now is built on quarterbacks that are mobile. Like, there's not many pocket passers left in the game, right? So that era is gone. So if you want to be successful, get to a Super Bowl, you gotta be able to move. And since his injury, like, I think after that, there's 2 Dak Prescotts. There's one pre-injury. And one after one we're seeing now is throwing more interceptions than he throws touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the beginning of his career, he was like, they had a good team. He was a game manager, and everyone's like, okay, he's a game manager. They have a shot. That's all they need to do, right? And then he had that big game with, Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't make that throw, they make it to the next round, right? Like, so that was at their peak. That was peak Dak, I think. And then right after that, it's just things just went downhill. And then he started throwing interceptions. He's no longer a game manager. They had the whole Zeke situation where he was like wanted his money, right? So and then they couldn't run the ball, and then they found Pollard, and then I just think I don't know. Stephen A is right. What can go wrong will go wrong with the Cowboys, you know?
Yeah.
It's just something always.
And it's going wrong spectacularly.
Yeah.
Because
you gotta love those Cowboy fan tears.
Because the way that they looked on Sunday night, I didn't really give them a chance because I thought San Fran was gonna win it anyway. But just the way it happened and the fashion that it happened,
For me,
and just Dak being more Dak than usual. What do you have, like 5 interceptions that game? 4?
Yeah.
No, he only had 3, I think.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
I think that was 3 in like 10 minutes.
Oh, 3. That was the 3
Yeah,
and 10.
that's why it felt like it was like 5 interceptions. I was
he
shocked
would have
that
thrown more if they didn't put in, you know, our man Cooper Rush there, you know.
I wish they brought in Trey Lance. We had the chant going like free Trey Lance.
Free Trey Lance. We were watching the game together.
Yeah.
We just wanted to see just one toss from this guy.
Yeah, that would have been the ultimate. It's too bad they didn't do that, but it's a long season. Like I don't think I think Cowboys are still gonna be there. They're still going to have to get over their demon. That is the 49ers. But I think the 49ers are like, the elite team in the NFL. And I think everybody else is below them.
The Cowboys, they are still like, I'd say maybe they're a top 8 team for sure. Maybe top 5. That defense is still, I'd still give them minus this San Fran game. I still think they're like a top 3 defense, right? And other than San Fran, I can really see them beating anyone.
But you can't be a top 3 defense if you're out there every 2 minutes and you're gassed.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Like Parsons looked like he was just famished, man.
And that's another thing.
That offense can't put drives together, man.
But that's another thing. I'm like I said it from the beginning. I'm like that Kellen Moore, getting rid of him. Like, they had one of the best offenses last year. And then they put all the blame on him for losing, saying, oh, we're not running the ball enough. And now what's that running the ball getting them? Getting them blown out. Their, defense is still struggling, right? If they have to go out there every 4 plays.
If you have Goff versus Dak, like, you think that's heavily favored for Dallas?
I think that's a coin toss, man.
Yeah, so, I think that's like, I think honestly, I'd take Detroit over the Cowboys right now.
So I think what had Cowboys as a top 5, top 3 team was that defense looked unstoppable. So you're just like, okay, their offense just has to produce some points, right? And then I don't know if Sunday was a reality check for everybody, because now they look so vulnerable. Now it looks like anybody can get their defense.
Yeah.
But I still think at the end of the day, like, they're gonna beat the teams they have to beat, and it's gonna come down to those 50-50 games where it's those Detroits, maybe even a Buffalo, or like just anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, like we said on the preview show, it's just good to have them win and get in.
Yeah.
It's just more fun that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? It's fun when they're relevant.
Yeah. Like you don't want them every year like a 3-win team and they do nothing.
Yeah.
I will call it right now though.
So they shouldn't tank and go for Caleb.
Is that what you
no,
they
no,
can't
no
tank.
way. No, that
they can tank.
They can't.
And it's just that's not a
that's
reality.
not a Jerry Jones does not tank.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, if when they meet Philadelphia, if Dallas wins, I'm telling you right now, the next day, every Dallas fan is going to have their Super Bowl like flags out. They're going to be like, okay, we're winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we know a lot of you out there.
Especially if that's their first loss. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be
a parade.
Yeah, parade.
It's going to be like the Maple Leafs. You run around. The minute they run around, it's party time.
And I kind of felt like that's what would have happened if Dallas won on Sunday. it would have been all those Cowboy fans saying, "Okay, we're winning the Super Bowl."
That would have been it, because San Fran's like the team, right?
Yeah.
So you take them now, like, all right, look, we told you guys.
Yep.
But that's okay, man. NFL, you got enough of our time. You guys got
a lot of season to go.
But as you can see, we got OV being represented over there. We got
Greatest goal scorer in NHL history, right here.
We got McJesus on this side over here.
Best player in the NHL.
We got the Habitants over here. That could only mean one thing, people. It's
that time of year.
It's Canada's second national anthem. Even though Hockey Night Canada hasn't had this in like 15 years, but
who's using this now? Sportsnet?
TSN.
Oh, TSN.
TSN's got this now.
Ah, been passed around.
Yeah, because CBC at that time, or CBC/Sportsnet, they had lost the rights for the song had expired. And then Bell came in with like an infinite amount of money, and they're like, let's grab the
man. That brings me memories, man. That's iconic for those of you who grew up in Canada. Yeah, it's definitely an iconic theme.
But the crazy thing about when Bell picked up the song for TSN was that's when Sportsnet and Rogers got the exclusive NHL rights like right away.
Yeah.
So
they couldn't even use it.
They couldn't even use it because now they're just using it for like, because TSN just does the local fees. They don't do any national games, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I thought that was actually pretty funny on Rogers' part to get the exclusive rights. But anyway, it's hockey season, people, and we're in Canada. Hockey's religion.
Yeah, we definitely got to touch on the season. Kicks off tonight. I think we got a game underway.
Yeah, Tampa, Nashville's on right now.
We got the next Mr. McDavid, Connor Bedard, playing tonight.
Bedard season starts tonight as well. They're playing Pittsburgh. And then I think the late game is Seattle and Vegas.
Yeah, Cup champs hosting Seattle.
Vegas. That owner, when they got the franchise, he guaranteed a cup in 5 years. They got it in 6. But he guaranteed it and they got it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That's a well-run franchise. Yeah. Whatever they're doing over there.
But from day one, like that first season, it's just, I would have never expected them to just become a contender right away.
Yeah. There was that narrative that they really benefited from like the new rules of that expansion draft when they came in. But the team that won the cup last year, there's like 2 guys from that expansion draft.
Yeah, there was only 2 guys left. Yeah. So,
so it was a completely different team.
Yeah. They made the right moves, right pickups. Yeah. Like honestly, everything they've done has hit the mark.
So hats off to Vegas, man. I can't hate on these guys. Good for you, man. You're great. But it's a new season. Nothing matters. Everybody's starting at 0.
As you know, with the NHL, a lot of parity, right?
A lot of parity.
NHL is the parity league.
So So I mean, we'll just want to go through a couple of things. Like we're not gonna take too much time like we did with the NFL, but just a few teams that are interesting that I want to talk about and just get everybody, like you guys, opinions on it. I want to start with here, the Metropolitan: Carolina, Columbus, Jersey, Islanders, Rangers, Flyers, Pens, Washington. That division sucks.
I think that's a very okay. So there's a high end. So it's the Rangers. Like that should be the Rangers division to lose. I think Carolina is still one of the best defensive teams. They'll be, it'll be 1 and 2. I think those two will be fighting it out. And after that, maybe the Devils, can compete for that 3rd spot. Maybe they have a surprise. I think that could be the surprise team of the Metropolitan. But all the rest of them,
So you're still,
they're almost like rebuilds.
So you're still giving Rangers a chance to still be that team.
I think the Rangers are stacked. I think if they all play to their potential, they got a goalie that could be the Vezina winner. They got defense, they got goal scorers. Yeah, I think they're a well-built team for a playoff run. They remind me of similar to the Boston Bruins. So, that they're physical, they're gritty, it's a well put together team. I think, they have a lot of potential. And when you have a goalie that can steal games for you on a nightly basis, you always got a chance.
You know who the Rangers remind me of? They remind me of Washington. They could just never get over the hump, and then finally they broke through. Right, like they're always there in the playoffs. They just couldn't get past that second round, and then Crosby would be there, and then it's like they would be a contender, but they could just never get through. I feel like Rangers are like
last
right
few
there,
years, right?
Right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I think they're right. But in that division, who do you see? Like aside from Carolina and the Rangers, like I don't see anybody else.
Carolina is the scariest team in the NHL. I honestly think so. These guys are absolute monsters, and that it was unfortunate how it ended for them in the playoffs last year. But I would have bet the house these guys would have won the cup last year.
Yeah, their defense is like their defensive play is top tier. They're probably one of the best, if not the best, defensive team in the league with an offensive powerhouse top six.
Yeah.
And I think some of their guys actually had down years last year, so
they had injuries. They got Svechnikov's back.
Yeah,
so he's healthy. So that adds to Carolina, right? I don't see them getting challenged too much for the division this year. Maybe Jersey, because Jersey's just gonna take another step. Those guys are gonna score 1 billion goals this year.
So that's why I think Jersey could be the. I think they'll be the third team. Like after those three, I think they're just a huge fall off.
Yeah,
Washington straight up rebuilding. It's the next couple of years is the Ovi goal chase. Right? Ovi catching Gretzky. That's all that matters in Washington.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's an interesting one because I think this is that core's last real push to win one more.
Yep.
And Dubas being there and then picking up Carlson in the offseason too.
Yeah.
Right? That power play unit is Crosby, Malkin, Gensel, Letang.
Yeah, they still got Letang. Yeah. I think
being a penalty.
And I think they have some depth too, right? So I think they still have some of their depth, some of their older players.
Pittsburgh's a team that I think might surprise a lot of people. They could do some damage this year, man. Like I'm legitimately thinking that.
Yeah, a lot's gonna depend on what Tristan Jerry shows up.
I
think he's had an up and down couple years, so I think goaltending is gonna be huge. And on the defensive side, they got Letang, they got Carlson, but that's great offensively. And then you look at the back end, I still see some holes.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be an interesting team to watch. I think it depends who one of those teams isn't making the playoffs. I see 3 teams. I see the other 4 coming out of the other division, maybe 5, like last year.
I think Pittsburgh pips the Rangers. I think so.
You think so?
Carolina, Jersey, Pittsburgh. They're coming out of that division. That's my guess.
I'm gonna take the Rangers, Carolina 1-2, and then I'm gonna give it to Jersey for number 3. And it's hard to say Pittsburgh not making the playoffs, but can Malkin stay healthy for a year, right? Crosby's getting older.
If I have to kick out one of those 4 teams, I would kick out New Jersey.
Really?
Because I feel like Rangers for sure, Carolina for sure, and then New Jersey, Pittsburgh, I can see that being the battle for the 3rd spot.
But you got to remember, so if we're only saying 3 teams are making it from that division, like you could have Pittsburgh in there. I think Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, I just mean like if you're going 1, 2, 3, I'd be like that 3rd spot fighting over it would be like that Jersey and the Pittsburgh.
Because if we're saying only 3 teams get in, that means 5 get in the other division.
Well, you have the wild cards, right? Because it's 3, and 2 wild cards.
Yeah, but then those 2 wild cards you're saying would come up from the other division.
Yeah, so whoever you kick out of the top 3 in Metro, they could be a wild card. But let's talk about this bloodbath, the Pacific. Anaheim, Calgary, Edmonton, LA, San Jose, Seattle, Vancouver, Vegas. We're not even going to talk about San Jose. We're not talking about Anaheim. But just Edmonton, Vegas, Seattle, Calgary.
Yeah, that's
that's a Royal Rumble in itself.
Yeah,
right
that's going to be a battle. And I think Calgary actually does have a bounce back year. I think a lot of things went wrong for them. Markstrom has a bounce back year.
They're better than what they were, but they did lose to Foley.
They did, yeah.
So Foley went to Jersey, who's going to add more. Like, Imagine taking another team's leading scorer and putting on a team that's already going to score 8 goals a game. Jersey's going to be scoring 10 goals
Jersey's
a game.
definitely going to be able to score.
Yeah, like,
that's saying something, because when was the last time we said Jersey was a goal scoring team?
Yeah. But is this the year where it's like for these guys, is it cup or bust? It's cup or bust. It has to be.
Yeah, you have McDavid and Draisaitl. You have the two I don't care what anybody says out there. The two best players on planet Earth. You have McDavid, you have Draisaitl. It's cup or bust. And if you can't figure out your goaltending, like, someone needs to be fired. If not the entire organization.
There has to be a move probably before deadline that these guys bring somebody in, because Skinner's not that guy. Campbell's not that guy.
These guys, they're not that guy.
Unfortunately, like, Hellebuck got signed today. Winnipeg signed Scheifele and Hellebuck today. Maybe you trade for Hellebuck. I don't know, man.
I just honestly, I would. Like, I think Hellebuck, like, Winnipeg had another, like, everything went wrong for them last year. They had a ton of injuries. A lot of guys missed time. Hellebuck had a really bad year from his standards. Like, why Edmonton is not rolling the dice on these goalies that have shown they can do it does not make any sense to me.
Yeah. I think it's 100%. It's like winning it all or bust, but they are the Dallas Cowboys of the NHL. Okay. So I do not see them winning. Right? It's unfortunate. Like, I would love to see Connor McDavid, right? If it's not the Leafs, I would love to see Connor McDavid win finally. But I think NHL is one of those things. Like, look at the division before, right? Like, we're like, okay, this division, we don't have to talk about anyone. But we have 4 legitimate teams going to be fighting it out, right?
Yeah.
And now we have another division. We have 4 legitimate teams, right? And then it's like...
It really speaks to what the Pittsburgh Penguins, like, we talk about Crosby, Malkin. It really speaks to, like, how loaded they were. Like, without Fleury, Letang, like, they're not winning those cups.
Yeah, they stepped up, but then it's like...
But they had a supporting cast that just came out of nowhere and was just...
Yeah.
Everybody remembers the save Fleury made against Detroit.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, Crosby was a great leader.
No, he was.
Right?
He was.
So, like, who's the leader on Edmonton? Like, Boston's always a powerhouse, right? Like, they have a bunch of leaders there, right? Like, you have Bergeron and all these guys, right? Like, they're always... Yeah, no, but like, that's how they were, right? Like, they were just a powerhouse for years. But they also
had the gift franchise of the Leafs to give them free rounds all the time.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, when you have like such a strong structure, like a team, like Crosby and them, they had legitimate defense. Everyone stepped up, and then they had goal scoring. And then when it counted most, they showed up, right?
They were coached well too.
Yeah. So they had everything, right?
They were coached
Boston had everything. Like, look at the cup winners, right? Edmonton, you have 2 players, and I don't trust their coach. I don't trust any of their supporting cast. I don't trust their goalie.
Cast is good enough. They have a lot of guys that are good enough. Maybe they need another D. They could use 1 or 2 more D.
I mean,
but that goaltending makes a massive difference.
Goaltending does, but first it starts off with coaching. Then I would say, okay, do you have a legitimate goaltender? And then I would look at the rest of the team.
Who is that? Okay, Bouchard's that young D that they have, who's really gonna have a breakout year this year. Who was the guy that they picked up from Nashville last year at the deadline? Oh my gosh, what's his name? But anyway, they have a decent top 4. Like,
their top 4 is
top
good.
4 D is not bad, but like to Champ's point again, why these guys haven't prioritized a goalie since the mid 2000s?
It's mind-boggling,
right? Like, I don't get it. Yeah. How many lottery picks did you have that you could have done something with them to get yourself a goalie? But you kept stacking up on these forwards, which you only have 1 left from that original crop of first rounders that you took. Nuge, because everybody else is gone.
Yep.
Right? And I mean, McDavid, obviously. And it's like different management teams are rotating in and out, but they're all doing the same thing.
Matthias Ekholm.
That's it.
Yeah, like
That-
they
that
built their
guy's a-
D last
yeah.
year, right? Like they got a good team, right? If you guys saying it's coaching, okay, if they're floundering, they're gonna make a coaching change. I think
Coaching,
that's gonna happen.
GM, and that whole organization. It's just, I'm telling you right now, they are not winning it.
This is it for them. This is the
But it's
a
called,
winner
like-
bust year.
Yeah, it's a couple
It has
busts,
to be.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So enough about the West. Now let's talk about our home division. Boston, Buffalo, Detroit, Florida, Montreal, Ottawa, Tampa, Toronto. This is a bloodbath.
This
Well,
is
Not
the top end is a straight up bloodbath.
yeah, like there's a big gap between the bottom
Yeah.
teams and the top teams of this one.
Mm-hmm.
The Leafs are the usual suspects. These guys are always going to be near the top. They're going to be fighting for that division.
I think
Tam-
Boston takes a step back this year.
I was going to say Boston
Yeah.
might take a step back. Tampa's going to take a step back.
Yeah.
It just depends on how that Johansson guy does because they don't have
Yeah.
Vasilevsky for like 3 months or whatever
Mhm.
it is.
Yeah.
Right? They're probably going to Kucherov him though, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Ottawa's going to get better.
Yeah, I think Ottawa may surprise. I think they're going to be the surprising team in the division.
They signed the goalie that these guys should have signed.
Yes,
Korpisalo, they when they picked up
exactly, yeah.
Korpisalo, I'm like that
Amen.
these guys should have gone
Yeah.
for him.
I feel like Edmonton doesn't even look at goalies. Like they wait, like you know how like let's say we're doing a fantasy draft,
Yeah.
they don't draft goalies until the last round. You
Yeah.
know when all the goalies are
Dude,
gone.
that's just okay. We'll just win all the offensive
Right?
categories.
So-
We'll get a goalie after.
Yeah,
And Ottawa is like they've put together an interesting team, a lot of young talent, guys that can score. So it'll be interesting. I think they're
Mhm.
gonna be I still don't think if I had to put a surprise team to make the playoffs, I may pick Ottawa.
Ottawa has to make the playoffs this year.
You think it's a
They have
playoffs
to.
or bust?
They have to, yeah. Because now Buffalo's even better, right?
Yeah, something
And
about Buffalo. So okay, who do we have?
Buffalo's got a vibe about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So top
they
three-
just signed because they just re-signed Darlene to that monster contract today, so they
Mhm.
got him locked up for
Yeah.
8 years.
Yeah,
right?
but
He's
top
probably the best defenseman in the league, maybe.
Top three still. Okay, you got the Leafs, Boston, Tampa.
Tampa. Yep.
As much as Boston takes a step back, they're, like you said, their culture, that franchise, they're going to be up there.
I think Boston's still number
Right?
one.
Yeah, I'd be
I think
surprised
they're
if
still going to be number one in that division.
But after those three teams,
The Boston's old, man.
Yeah, but
They're old.
I feel like
busted.
in hockey, it won't matter as much.
and
'cause
Bergeron
it-
retired, right?
Bergeron's gone.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like they're still big. They're still like mean. They have that culture.
Yeah, and you also have Pasternak, who's probably going to get like 105, 106
Pas-
points,
yeah.
right? Like that guy's.
I believe in Marchand and Pasternak.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, their goalies, they got a 1A and 1B with Allmark and Swayman,
yeah.
Yep.
right? So they can go either way with their goalies.
They're,
Mhm.
like you said,
Nice
they're
problem to
proven,
have.
right? Yeah, they're proven culture. So I still have got them in the top three. After those three teams, like who do you slot in after that?
I mean, Florida's still in the mix.
Yeah,
Right,
forgetting about
if-
Florida. Yeah, they had a big down year.
I think
last
they'll
year.
be
If-
better. Yeah,
yeah.
they have to
Yeah.
be better. Than
If my
were.
guy Bobrovsky can do what he did in the playoffs last
Mhm.
season and replicate that in the regular season, Florida's a problem,
Yeah, for sure.
right?
playoff
Because no one's going to score on them.
Stanley Cup hangover.
I don't know, man. The team's young enough to not
Yeah.
really get affected that much. I mean, they're not. I mean, they're all a bunch of geriatrics. They're feeling it now.
Yeah, I got them in. I definitely think that's
Right.
the top four. Like if you guys are telling me that's the top four, and I think if a wild card team, that's eighth team for me could be Ottawa, right? Could be Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah. The East is fun.
Yeah,
The East is a blast.
I think the East. Yeah,
Yep.
And as far as the Habs go, the management knows, the players know, the fans know what they are and what's happening. The Habs are just a vibe right now. Everyone's just rolling with it, man. They're just gonna let these guys do their thing,
just grow,
grow,
experience,
develop.
yeah.
There's no pressure,
Mm-hmm.
right? Suzuki's gonna grow into his role. Caulfield's finally gonna get a full season
Yeah,
and not get screwed by Ducharme like he did in his first year.
Yeah,
St. Louis is gonna
yeah.
let him free, and he's probably gonna score 40
they've
goals.
got honestly, they got the right coach in place
Yeah.
for these young kids to give them a couple years, grow into who they eventually are gonna be, and you can kind of build around that.
Yeah, like
Yep.
what Montreal's done is they knew exactly where they were, and they knew what they had to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted well, they made good trades, they signed some decent free agents.
Yeah.
They have that young good core, that's really going to go to the next level in the next couple of seasons, right? This year's a write-off.
Yeah.
They know we're going to finish at the bottom of the division. Who cares? Just these guys, just let them grow.
I
right?
think
Next year, though, is where it's like, maybe we got to start pushing for a playoff spot.
No, but that's why, like, in sports, like, you have specific teams. Like, Philadelphia, they did their whole, we're tanking, we're going to get, build a super team, right? I'm talking about the Sixers in basketball, right? Like, they did the whole thing, right?
I was going to say the Flyers days.
Yeah, no.
They're so irrelevant all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They're so
And I'm
bad.
like, I feel like when you have a plan, then the fans can get behind it, right? But like there's teams
that's what
like
fans want ultimately. Right?
but
They
that's
want a
why
direction.
like now you can be excited. You're like, okay, this is the plan, right? Like let's execute it, right? So if it doesn't work, then you got to start all over. But
the thing last year that really bothered me with the Habs was because like they themselves didn't know what they were, right? And in my head, I just kept saying like, just stop winning. Let's get Bedard.
Yep.
Why do you keep trying to win these games? Look, you're an athlete. I get it. You don't want to lose on purpose, right? But we know what you are.
Yeah.
But now everybody and their grandmother knows what the Habs are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? That's why it's going to be more fun. I'm going to have a blast watching these guys this year. I don't care if they get blown out 7-2. It's just going to be fun to watch them play.
Yep.
A healthy Caulfield doing his thing is going to be fun
you
want to
see guys
right?
grow, right? You want to see potential.
I mean, it was just like with you guys and the Leafs, like when they got that young core together.
Yeah, you want to just
it got fast-tracked because they're all superstars and you guys started winning right away. But
which ultimately you could say like maybe they made some mistakes trying to fast-track it too much.
I think the mistake was, and this is where like I was actually going to lead to the Leafs because I'm like, you have the 76ers who, okay, it's not working out for them right now, but they did the right thing. The fans were behind it. It was good, right? Montreal's doing it now. What the Leafs did, they were in a place where it's like, they wanted to push for the playoffs, but you knew, like, I'm talking about that Kadri team, right? That lost to Boston. Those couple of years, like the year before and year after, I'm like, those are all waste years because I'm just like, we don't have a team that can get it done, right? Like, you're fighting for the playoffs. You're barely trying to make it in. And then if you do, you're most likely going to be kicked out. And they were, right? I'm like, let's just start the rebuild now at that time, right? And I'm just like, and then the fans were split, right? Everyone's just fighting. And then we got a little bit of luck, right? We got lucky. And now we're in a good spot. But I'm just like...
The mistake they made was Tavares. Like, they got trigger happy.
I don't think that was a mistake.
His contract has basically shut out this franchise from making any big moves.
In this short window, yes.
Yeah, but you have to look at it in this short window, right? Like, you had guys in, like, going into their prime on simple contracts. I'll tell you the two mistakes. Tavares locked them in their salary cap, and then they didn't sign these guys a year or 2 years prior to the contract coming up. There should have been no reason that you should have waited for the contract year for them to have their big seasons and then ask for whatever they want. Like teams, the Jays are on that track right now.
Yeah.
Right? Bichette and Guerrero have 2 years left. What are we waiting for?
Yeah.
They had a down season. Why don't you give them money right now?
Yeah. But at least the Jays don't have to worry about like a salary cap though, right?
I get it, but they don't have to worry about a salary cap. But
the Leafs also were operating under the assumption that the cap would go up, but then COVID happened.
yeah, but I still think those two mistakes, like that's just business. Like that you shouldn't make those, even if like how much is the salary cap going to go up? Let's say they had another 10 million to work with, right?
Yeah.
The way the Leafs spend, that's one player.
Yeah. The cap's going up next season, what, 5 mil, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think it's going up 5,
4 or 5 mil.
I mean, 4 or 5 mil, that
That's
could
a
get
lot.
you a second liner.
Yeah.
Right? If you're smart.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It can get you a goalie.
You guys want to touch on the last division? Or just the Avs and everybody else?
The only thing about the last division I want to talk about is Bedard. Because nothing else in that division I care about except for Dallas is going to run away with it.
You think so?
Yes.
You think the Avs?
Dallas wins the West. That's my prediction. Dallas is winning the West.
Yeah, I'll take Dallas too. I'll take Dallas. I'll take the Avs number 2.
Avs needs to stay healthy.
Yeah. I still think they just have so much talent, and Nathan McKinnon is just,
top tier. So I think that'll carry them. They have their top 6 is really strong.
I think Robertson's gonna have a 100-point season.
Robertson, I think so too.
That kid is nasty.
Yeah, I think Bedard as a whole, Chicago's Bedard and everybody else. Like that's the story.
The vibe with Bedard in Chicago is kind of like that Crosby Pittsburgh vibe.
Yeah.
Where like he single-handedly revived that franchise.
Yeah.
Chicago was irrelevant for the last decade.
After, I guess
after like the Kane Taves,
they had their
dynasty,
dynasty. Yeah.
I'm really glad he went to a original 6 team.
Yes.
Right? Like,
And he's kind of East Coast too, right? Because if he was on the West, that would have sucked.
Yeah.
Because now we got to stay up to watch this guy and Bedard. I don't think so.
Yeah. Already stay up enough to watch McDavid.
Yeah, that'll be rough. But Bedard, you have this kid, generational talent. They're putting him at this guy's level, McDavid's level, Sid's level, right? And he's Canadian, which even adds the pressure on top of that. After what he did at the World Juniors last year, when he was 2 years younger than everybody, but he led the tournament in scoring, he had like 26 points, 27 points. The kid's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I actually think he's gonna probably be in the 65 to 75 range in points.
Yeah, I mean, here's where Chicago's gonna have to start seeing what's going on and start building around him.
Yeah, see who clicks, who doesn't.
Because he's playing with Taylor Hall and that's Sue, whatever his name is. Like,
Taylor Hall was an interesting signing. Like that's an interesting pairing. I wonder what they saw.
Yeah.
You know what? Would be sad for McDavid? It's gonna be, since Bedard is on such a good franchise and they know what it takes to win, right? Like they know how to put teams together. So if he wins his chip, like in the next 5 years, and there's McDavid just has nothing, then all the talk's gonna be like,
but the thing with
he's better than McDavid, he has a better career,
Yeah.
like, you have him already on top.
Chicago's issue at the moment though is the architects that built those winning teams aren't there anymore.
Yeah, all those guys are gone.
I still think they have, but I think like that winning culture doesn't really go away.
To Jack's point, like as a franchise, because they've won so recently, right? You can kind of
just like how you have Boston Celtics, like the Lakers, right? Like you have those decades where they're nothing, right?
So you're just talking about the pedigree of the team.
It's just the pedigree, right? Okay. And then what comes with it, and then
That's fair. I just hope they nurture this kid, give him some help, and not just leave him out there to dry.
Yeah.
Like hang to dry by himself, because that could really derail a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Especially as young as him, who's got all this pressure on him. You need to really support this guy and really help him out, man. Because if they don't, that's gonna be bad. I mean, let's look at Lafreniere, right?
Yeah.
This guy was touted as like a big deal too, right? But then he ends up playing. Who was his first coach? Tortorella, right?
Yeah, he went through a few coaches.
Or was it Laviolette?
No,
Laviolette's their coach now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Tortorella, and they had him playing center.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, which like
that's
just,
how much they've kind of like hurt his growth and progression. Like I totally forgot.
Yeah, so I think this year they've actually moved him to the wing again, but I think he's on the left wing now. Anyway, he's back on the wing. He's not playing center anymore. This could be the year for him to finally break out and become the guy that we all thought he was going to be, which is great because that's just giving us another generational talent to watch.
Yeah.
Right? So if he becomes that guy, we have him, we got Bedard, we got McDavid, we got McKinnon, we got Robertson.
Yeah, the league's got a lot of stars.
Is stacked.
Yeah, the league is stacked right now.
They need all these guys because now Crosby's gonna be gone slowly. Ovechkin will be gone.
Speaking of Ovechkin, let's do some quick hits before we get off the NHL. Who do you guys got as winning the cup?
Winning the cup will be Carolina.
Not surprised. You hype them up pretty much.
I think they're scary, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just.
Jack, who you got?
I will go someone in the same division. Rangers.
All right, that was gonna be my low key because I actually think that's possible. I'm going to go with the Dallas Stars.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Dallas Stars. Get on that bandwagon. I think they're gonna be the cup winners, and I do think the Leafs will make the third round.
Third round.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Leafs are gonna make it to the conference finals this year.
Okay. So, all right, that's interesting. Who wins the heart?
Who wins the heart? I think Connor McDavid. You know what?
Should we
Who
even be
else can
discussing
you choose?
this?
Yeah.
You know what? We shouldn't even discuss this.
Draisaitl, maybe.
Yeah, so I was gonna
right?
say if it's not Connor McDavid, I think it's going to be Robertson.
Okay. All right. If it's not McDavid, you got Robertson. Okay. If it's not McDavid, it might be Pasternak.
I like that pick. Good pick.
If it's not McDavid, it's Draisaitl.
Yeah. But who are
Because
we
he's
kidding?
passing to Draisaitl.
Yeah, it's McDavid. Like why
Yeah,
are
we all know.
talking about this?
And same with the rookie of the year. Like I don't think we need to touch on that. It's gonna be Bedard. Is there any way it's not Bedard?
I think so. If that Levi guy in Buffalo gets them to that into the playoffs
Yes,
convincingly and
yeah.
stands on his head,
Yeah.
you can make a case for him.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Right?
If a guy actually leads them to the playoffs and they're on the fringe,
Yeah.
Yeah, I could
Does
see
that
happening.
storyline stuff come into play
Yeah.
for NHL?
I think that speaks to what Sonny's saying.
It sort of does.
Yeah,
It
that
does?
is
It
storyline.
has
Okay.
to, right? Because look, I don't want to jinx the kid, but if Bedard has like a 50-point season
Yeah.
and the Blackhawks just finish in the basement, but Levi stands on his head,
Yeah, has like
carries Buffalo on his back into the
yeah,
playoffs.
has like 35, 40 points. He's near like
Well, he's the goalie,
oh yes.
right? So he's the goalie. So like if he stands on his head and then he carries them in, I mean you can make a case for it, right? But even 50 points as a rookie's pretty good too.
Yeah.
On a team.
But
like
I think
Chicago.
like Jack's saying, I think narrative does play into it a little bit.
100%.
So if you get into the playoffs, I think, there's a chance there. It's not, I don't think it's just a slam dunk like we said with McDavid.
It's gonna be interesting, man. I mean, there's a bunch of. It's a good rookie crop.
All right, guys. What about Ovi? How many goals is he putting up
Ovi's
this year?
72 back right now. So he's
He's,
probably
yeah.
gonna probably pop in 30, 35 this year.
30, 35? What do you got, Jag?
I was going to say between 35-40.
35, 40? I'm going to give him a good 50, guys.
Wow, 50.
He's a hit. Yo,
I-
Washington's
look, I
got
love-
If he
nothing.
gets 50, that'd be...
Boys, Washington's got nothing to play for. Their entire objective this year is get Ovi the puck, get him out for 2 minutes on the power play, get him to Gretzky.
Fair enough.
The faster they get him to
Yeah.
Gretzky, the faster they move on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and then rebuild.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So and Ovi's can do it, man. This guy's got the most 50 goal seasons. He's gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the game plan,
He's gonna do it, guys.
right?
That's
Just
the
have him sit at the hashies and just put
Yeah,
clap
sit on his
bombs on
spot,
the net.
man.
Sure, why not?
When I said 35-40, I thought that was the game plan. That would be the game plan.
Oh, trust
just,
me, he's hitting 50 this year. I'm calling it.
All right, he's breaking the record next year,
Yeah, he's for sure breaking. it
unless
next
for
year.
some reason he just goes absolute buck wild and puts in 73 this year, which would be the best way to do
Yeah,
it.
Since Alexander McGillney had 76.
Yeah, he was the last guy over. No, wasn't Solani's rookie year?
Or was it Solani? Yeah, it may have been
Solani
Solani.
had 72.
That's
Yeah, it may have been
crazy.
Solani.
But dude, that was the last. Yeah, I think it was. You're right. McGillney or Solani was the last guy.
That'd
to
be
do something like
wild,
that.
man. I wish Ovechkin can pull that off. That'd be wild.
Yeah, that'd be great. What is he? He's 38 now, right?
You know what would be nice?
Yeah, I think so.
72.
He's getting 72 goals. He just right on it. He doesn't even break it. Just ties
That'd
the
be
record.
nice.
He ties the record
Yeah.
this year, and then he plays the opening night next year.
Yeah.
Gets the empty netter.
That's the other storyline, right? What other storylines we got coming into the season?
I mean, it's just your usual suspects.
Yeah.
Like are the Leafs
Yeah.
gonna finally smarten up and do their thing, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be the same
Usual
thing,
threads.
yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, with NHL, it's kind of like the same thing every year. I mean, outside of like Bedard and stuff,
Yeah.
and then, like, is New Jersey gonna become that monster that everybody thinks that they're gonna become? Which I think they might.
They could, yeah.
Right.
I think they're going to be the surprise team of the. Well, I guess not that much of a surprise, but
Yeah,
I think they're a playoff team this year
yeah,
for sure.
like what Jersey did last year, I think is what Buffalo's gonna do this year. Like Buffalo's gonna make that leap that Jersey
I think it's
did
going to
last
be.
year.
I think for me, it's going to be either Buffalo or Ottawa. We'll see.
Yeah, Ottawa's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I mean, hey man, the more Canadian teams in the playoffs, the better. But I don't want any of them to win if it's not the Habs. But I've got a good 10 years before that's gonna happen for me anyway. That's fine. We have a little bit of time left. Let's just touch up on the Jays real quick because we didn't get a chance to
Oh.
talk about it after what happened in the wild card. Schneider's got to go, right?
I was saying that, like, from the beginning. I'm just like, He's making such weird decisions. I'm telling you that. Remember that one game? I still recall. Who was it? Who was pitching before he got sent down? Manoah. Yeah. So he was struggling from the beginning, and he finally was having a decent start. He was into like the third inning or so, and he gave up like a hit, and then they took him out like right away. And I'm just like, because he's been struggling so much. He was giving a lot of walks, but he was getting out of it. So he struggled in the first, got out of it. Struggled in the second, got out of it. And then the third, like, he was struggling again, but like there's no damage done. And you just take him out. I'm just like, things like that, like, why not just leave him in? Just, because, like, let him figure things out. I know how it became after, like the whole Manoah thing, but I'm just like, I feel like he was just trying to play too much analytics, like taking this guy out at this time.
That's exactly what it is.
Like, I feel like you got to just go back old school. If you have your ace in there, he gives up 3 runs, you keep him in there.
Sports is one of the most raw human things that you can do, which runs on emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And you just run with it. Sometimes you just have a gut feeling like, look, this guy's dealing. Let's let him in there. Let's leave him out there, and just see what happens. But once you've got your face buried in a spreadsheet and it's telling you situationally, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that a manager would make a decision based solely on that and not seeing what's happening in front of his eyeballs 20 feet away.
Did you guys see what happened after? So he was like, came from upstairs, and they're like, Atkins, like, no, that was his decision.
Dude, that press conference that Atkins had was a circus. They're all throwing each other under the bus.
Yeah, this franchise, like, these two guys have to go. Manager, like, I cannot believe, like, if this was the day of the game, like, you guys would have seen me just go off right now. This manager's got to go. So in all the sports, when you hire a manager, there's certain managers that win the World Series. You don't just hire a guy that's going to find himself in the finals. I'm sorry. If you're building to win a championship, hire someone with a pedigree. Period. End of story. They didn't do that. From day one when they hired this guy, I said it was the wrong move. And they're still sticking by him because he's coming back next year. Atkins, his plan has backfired. Our farm system is in shambles. And like you said, the press conference was a show. And I don't know if this is some kind of big galaxy brain idea that they made it such a circus on purpose that they took away from the players. Like, in a way, they're protecting the players, right? That's me giving them a little bit of benefit of the doubt there, because we haven't heard a peep about Guerrero getting picked off on second. Like, what were you thinking? That should have never happened.
I couldn't believe
you're the tying run. He was the tying run.
It's just like, buddy, just relax. Let's just get Bo up to the plate and just let him hit and just see what happens. What do you do? You're not Ricky Henderson, man.
Yeah.
You don't have that kind of speed. What are you trying to do? He was 10 feet off the base.
But stuff like that. So when I see stuff like that, like, that comes from your coaching staff and your coach. And you're like, that's supposed to be your leader, right? Like, setting the tone. Like, they just seemed all over the place this year. So it's not surprising. What bit them in the butt in the playoffs is exactly what they couldn't do all year. And that's hit in the clutch and leave numerous runners on base.
They need to address run production in the offseason. They
got away from home runs, right? Yeah. They thought, hey, let's build another way. So first of all, they need to sign Bichette. Like, this guy carried this franchise into the playoffs this year. Their pitching staff was unbelievable.
And we wasted it.
Yeah, I'm not even going to comment on this whole Brio situation, why he was pulled. Like, if you don't get fired for that, this team should be boycotted. Like, how you make that decision? If you imagine you're a bettor and you bet on the Jays, or let's say you bet Brios 5 innings, 6 Ks, 10 Ks. This guy was dealing. How do you make sense of a guy getting pulled against a franchise he's played well against, in a building he played that he knows, and you pull him with giving up 1 hit in the third?
Yeah, so I see, this is where sometimes a franchise needs like to be brought into reality. Like, Dallas on Sunday, it was a reality check, right? They're highest of the high and now lowest of the low, right? And I felt like the lowest of the low would be, let's not make the playoffs, because they need a reality check, right? The whole thing of, I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer for every single team that if you can make it in, anything can happen. I don't believe that, right? This team getting in, there was no 1% miracle that could happen unless every single team they faced, everyone got hurt or didn't make it to the game, right? So I don't know if, I thought not making the playoffs would be that, but now the way that they lost, I think is even better, because I'm like, now if there's not changes, right, then you kind of know.
But you would
from
figure
the top down,
you would
like,
figure
there's a problem.
That would have happened after what happened last year. We're up 8-1.
Yeah.
And Gosman's pitching a Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, pitching.
And you take him out.
Yeah, I don't know how many more examples you need.
No,
yeah,
but that's why now, like, if we're going back in with the same coaches, with the same, manager, with the exact same players, and you're expecting a different result, then there's a problem straight from the top down. Now, if you make changes and then you bring in somebody else and then there's different problems, then you can address those, and then you can be like, be a little bit more optimistic, be like, okay, this didn't work out or that didn't work out. But if you have another replica year, third year in a row, then I don't know where you go from there.
Yeah.
Then it's just a franchise problem.
Like, what is Shapiro and Atkins really doing in Cleveland? They did nothing. They built a new stadium. Who cares?
Yeah. And that's look, so everyone's hyped. They're renovating, which is amazing. That was in the budget. That was something that was in the plans. But yeah, when it just comes to the team, they haven't done what they needed to do. Like, they haven't made the right moves. Like they truly wasted a year where they had top tier pitching in MLB. And I don't agree that they didn't have a chance. Like, getting in matters. Your pitching didn't lose this game. Your pitching didn't lose you to playoffs. Your
bats let you down.
Yeah, your bats let you down, which let you down all year, and your coaching has let you down.
Which has let you down all year. And that's why that 1% chance didn't exist.
Yeah.
Because those would still be there in the playoffs.
Yeah. I honestly thought the game would have ended on Vladdy just hitting into a double play. But I didn't think it was him just getting picked off after standing 15 feet off a base.
Well, the fact is, this coach is coming back. It sounds like this GM's coming back. So either you boycott this team and we tell them we want change, or, hey, we may get some of the same. Yeah,
Rogers, you're already charging us boatloads of money for using cell phones. Now you're going to do this with the Jays too? Give me a break, man.
Can't win.
Yeah. Well, I walked by the stadium the other day. I don't see the Ted Rogers statue anymore. I don't think it's there. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not even mentioning it. I didn't see it last time either. I was just there a few weeks ago.
It was really dark. It was a bronze statue. Maybe I just didn't see it. Yeah, I was just walking by after Andrew Schultz, which was awesome, by the way. Andrew Schultz, man, live tour. That thing was great.
Oh, yeah. I got to ask you about that. We got to, next podcast.
Yeah.
We definitely got to touch on that.
But yeah, just a couple of things before we take off. We are actually going to be vlogging again next week. We're going to be at Frequency Entertainment's charity golf tournament. They're doing it for Big Brothers of Canada out in Milton here, Granite Ridge. So we'll have another vlog for you. That should be exciting.
Let's hope the weather holds up.
It's not. The weather looks absolutely terrible, and it is going to be bad.
If you guys don't know, up here in Toronto, we're, what is it, like 5-6 degrees?
5-6 degrees. I played golf yesterday in a hurricane, and it felt like 2 degrees. It was not fun, that's what we're looking at next week. So this vlog is going to be fun. You're going to see us wiping our noses.
Yeah, it's getting pretty cold up
here. Huddling together, just trying to keep warm.
Yeah, this will definitely be the last session of the year.
Yeah, but yeah, you guys stay tuned for that one. We have that vlog that we're going to do next week at that tournament. And just keep an eye out, man. We're back. It's belligerent season.
Yeah, we're back for the fall. We'll be putting out a lot more episodes.
Yeah.
And NBA soon, 2 weeks.
NBA soon. And there was some stuff that's going on in the world right now, especially here in Canada, that we're definitely going to talk to you guys about. And we'll do that on the next episode. So we'll get that out to you sooner rather than later. And hope you guys enjoy, man. Like, share, subscribe. It's belligerent season. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Peace out.